2, 1.
Welcome to episode 101 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by Jez.
Just one more heroic.
Agrios.
I'm late.
Sharks.
Sharks is raid ready!
And Gray.
The grind is real.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter, at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. If you do a search on budget.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, which we also use for both comments and feedback. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always search for the Guardian 1 podcast on iTunes, as well as the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansofD and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include previous episodes of TTL Party Chat and Robust Radio. There's also a podcast called Ghost and Echoes, which contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards found within Destiny. That's it for housekeeping. I'll see you again soon.
All right, thank you very much, Hollow River. We still don't have an updated Hollow River, but that list now does include the Focus Fire Chat, who is hosting our show right now. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Also, let's see. Shout out to some new members we have this week. Knock, welcome back. Former member, now a member again. Out there kicking ass with Guardian 1. Nice to have you. Paris from the Guardian, Gamer Tag Radio. They are on their 500th episode, and so I highly suggest you check that out. And imagine, like I sometimes think about, like the archives of this show, like what will it be, in 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, to look back at the shows that happened before Destiny even launched. Imagine being able to go back in time 10 years and see what they were talking about video game wise. That's really excellent. So welcome to Guardian 1 Paris. Also, Mark from Guardian Radio. He finally ditched that Guardian Radio tag, which I'm sad about in a number of ways, because he is Guardian Radio, and I always understood that that's what was going on. Even though he runs with Guardian 1 all the time, I was never like, hey Mark, you should change your game, you should change your clan. But now he's here. So welcome to Guardian 1, Mark. Excellent news. 2 days out from the Rise of Iron. Very cool expansion. Going to be all we talk about today, except for I do want to get to some snacks. My plan for tomorrow is to wake up like 2 hours before the raid starts at 10 a.m. and I will still be getting an hour and a half more sleep than I would be if it was just a regular day, if waking up at 8 o'clock. Very excited about that. But really quickly, anyone here in the chat, everyone here on the podcast, I would love to know what kind of snacks I should get. Like I usually get some beef jerky and some M&Ms and some soda, but I don't know. I still have the run to make, and so I wanted to make sure that I get the right stuff. So why don't we... What?
No, I was going to say, I find combos to be a very good quick bite.
Combos? What is that?
They're like these little pretzel things filled with all different flavors you can get. You know what combos are?
I thought they stopped selling those years ago. I will take
no, you can still get combos everywhere.
Maybe in Florida. What else you got? What else you got, Agrios? Combos? Gatorade. I think I might get Gatorade. Okay.
I would recommend against Gatorade. It's not very good for you.
Why do you say that?
That brominated whatchamacallit in there is bad stuff.
But it's delicious. Is there
But
there are delicious alternatives that don't have that brominated stuff in it. So this is coming from someone who really loves Gatorade as a product after learning too much about that brominated stuff. That's that.
Gray, you had something to say about that?
I just, by Nerdy Girl's request, she needed some River Dance tonight. She's been grinding.
Oh, okay.
long road. My snack of choice for tomorrow is going to be peanut butter stuffed pretzels. And
peanut butter stuffed pretzels.
And lots of IPA. That's my raid menu.
For reals, you're going to be drinking while you're doing this?
For reals.
So we can chart your progress. Like here's Gray and his above average deal, and then it's like it just tanks. All right, peanut butter stuffed pretzels. I like that. Sharks.
There are
what do you?
People, including myself, that with a few, just the right amount there, actually become better at whatever we're skilled at to begin with. Like, for instance, when I go to the bar, I am an infinitely better dart player after beer 3 than I am before beer 1 or after beer 6.
You just think you're better.
No, the score doesn't lie. I dominate people at that third beer.
Okay, the score doesn't lie. So Sharks, you bring up a good point. Like I used to do karaoke extensively. Love karaoke. Mr. Roboto is my jam. And I, right around the third or fourth beer, I'd be like, man, I'm on top of the world. But you're right, Sharks. I just thought I was better. I just thought that through the hesitation to the wind. Sharks, what do you have on snacks?
On snacks, okay, here's the thing. I love all kinds of different stuff for snacks. Chips, jerky, like you say, candy. But the only problem is a lot of that stuff is really noisy, and we've got 5 other people that are on mic, and so it's going to be like, chomp, chomp, chomp.
That's true.
And piss people off. But, just go with what you like. I'm probably going to go and get myself like a McDonald's in the morning. McDonald's breakfast.
Me too.
Maybe pick up some donuts at the store. I have a
store donuts are gross.
Oh, okay. We don't have a bakery. We don't have a bakery here, so
okay, bakery is cool.
Yeah, I know. So, but I have an energy drink. I'm probably gonna get some more. I live off of coffee, and that's all I need. That and my fire team.
I like it. So, Jez, what do you have on this?
Water.
Water?
Healthier is better.
Man,
all the sugars
to get world first.
All the sugars are going to make you crash. If you're going for world first, you don't want to crash. So, jerky is good because it's not full of sugar. Trying to think. I don't know, just things without sugars is best.
Okay.
Some complex carbohydrates to keep you going for a long time, but that's about it.
The reason I ask, not only do I still have the trek to make tomorrow morning, but my family, like every single one of them, except for the dogs and the cats, they've all left me here. Like I've just gone straight into bachelor mode. Like it's been so long since I've just had, even an hour to myself where I'm like, well, what am I going to do now? And so they're all gone. They're all at the beach right now, doing like this huge family. Flounder has this huge family, and all of the females get together for this kind of a retreat on the beach. And so they've all left me. They've taken. They won't be coming back until Saturday. I think Saturday afternoon sometime. This will be the longest that I will ever have been away from my children. And like part of me is like crying. Like I cried earlier when they left. It was really sad. Like I don't want to see them go. And at the same time, it's so sweet to just sit there and burn hours on video games. Like I made so much progress today, and it was very exciting. But because I've gone into this, it's like this. Here's me cruising along, have to take care of some kids and feeding them and making sure they have delicious drink, and someone has pooped in their diaper, and then as soon as they left, I lowered myself into, I haven't eaten a single thing since they left. I've just been drinking tea since they're gone, and I'm like starving right now because I can't take care of myself. Like I can take care of myself when I'm taking care of somebody else. But like just me by myself. On top of that, brand new video games, brand new Destiny, so much cool stuff to go over. So yeah, I'm in bachelor mode. I'm just going to be playing video games. That's all I'm going to be doing tonight. I think that I'm not going to pull what Agrios is trying to say. Agrios says he's just going to stay up the whole night until then.
Gotta get there, man.
And
what's your light level?
I am 356 right now, so it's not great, but I feel like within 4 hours, as I plan on playing at least until Zerg gets here. I might play until 3, I might play until 4, and then but the longer I stay up, the less likely I'm going to wake up to my alarm.
You'll get to 60 by then.
What's that?
You'll get to 60 by then. Easy.
Right. I am worried though, because so many people are so much higher of a light level than 360. Like I feel like it's hopeless. I feel like it's hopeless for my team unless Agrios stays up all night. I don't want to be the weakest link, but I have a feeling I am going to be the weakest link. But I got like okay RNG. So far, nothing's been keeping me back. I get a ghost when I need a ghost. I get an artifact when I need an artifact. But I do want to talk right now about... Okay, wait a second. Maybe I should go over this with you guys. So I want to go over tips and tricks. I want to go over skeleton keys and how to get them, because seriously, I've done so many strikes. And I wasted my skeleton key on that stupid war stat strike, and I got some dumb warlock helmet I didn't want. It was underleveled, and I'm upset at myself because of this. I would have gone and used it in the not the Crotus strike, the Omnigul. I would have gone to Omnigul because I think that Grasp of Malak is still pretty mean. But I want to go over the tips and tricks for raising your light level and just overall, also that skeleton key. But okay, so I got to know right now, is anybody using their Yalla Horn, and is anyone using their Yalla Wing? Let's start with Gray on this. Gray, are you using either of those items?
Don't have the Galar Horn yet, so no, I'm not using it. I am using my Galar Wing, and I'm using my Galar Horn more than anything. That's probably my most used item right now is my Galar Horn.
That's funny. What about you, Sharks? Are you using either of those items?
I have used both of them. I have my Galar Wing equipped to my raid character, which is my Titan. So I use it every time I get on my my Sparrow. Galar Horn, you cannot use when you're doing the strike playlist that I'm doing. So I am not using Gjallarhorn, but I did use it a couple times. I used it when Agrios and I yesterday, I convinced Agrios to run Septis Prime. Well, not Prime. Septis
Redo.
Petrified, whatever it
Sepix
is.
Perfected.
Perfected. Yeah, there you go. That's what it was. When I got him to come on and do that, we were doing that for a while before we went into the heroic, because, well, okay, I'll get to that later. But I was using it there. But in the heroic playlist, you really need to have arc everything. So it's Zhalo, arc sniper, arc heavy machine gun.
When it is not pertinent to use arc items, do you think that the yellow horn will come in handy? Because I'm starting to look at the things that they've given us, and I'm starting to think that maybe there's a reason, beyond just it was cool to bring back yellow horn, and it fits nicely with these Iron Lords. Do you think that there will be a place for it in the raid?
Maybe, probably. I mean, they've given everybody the opportunity to get it really easy right away. So possibly, yeah, but I don't know. Really, okay. So here's the nice thing about the way that we can infuse everything. You don't have to necessarily bring it in. You can pick whatever you want to bring in, and then just have it on the ready to use. So yeah, have it ready, but don't think that that's going to be the main gun.
Got it. Agrios, what do you think about this? Have you been using the yellow horn, and are you using the yellow wing?
The Gjallarhorn still currently equipped, although I don't expect it to be equipped very long because it's just got the new on it for me. But I mean, everybody has one, and I'd rather try to ride a Sparrow that not everybody else is riding that same one.
Yeah, so, I hear that.
As soon as the new wears off, probably like after the raid tomorrow, that'll be the end of the Gjallarwing until, who knows when. The Gjallarhorn, I expect to get plenty of use out of. It's still, even in its less damaging state than year one, still quite fun. Sharks and I unlocked it yesterday. The quest chain to unlock it is quite fun. It's set up for fun, for sure. The only reason I'm not rocking it right now is because, we're forced into a specific sort of grind, which requires arc weapons like Sharks indicated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I expect to get a lot of use out of it. I'll definitely have it on me in the raid. Maybe, like Shark said, depending on what kind of fodder I have to bring the weapons to the level I'm at, I might leave certain things unleveled and have one or two fodders ready to go into them. So if I need something, I can slap it together.
That's good thinking. I started doing that, and then I just realized that I'm just going to keep creeping up on light level, and so many of the things that I saved are just total trash at this point.
But when you get to like where we're going in the raid at, like just before raid time, if you can go in and get one more blue in each category to have saved at that light level you're at going in, you have that ready to throw into whatever weapon you might need.
Absolutely, and I think that that's what's going to dictate where my night ends, and I try and get some sleep before the raid, because I feel like it will be easy for me to raise 4 light levels so that at least I am minimum 360 going in. But I feel like
370.
What's that?
My goal is to be 370 at raid time.
And how long do you think that will take you, based on how long you've already been playing?
I believe I've gotten my sleep in already.
No. I'm asking you, how long do you think it will take for you to get to 370 based on how long you've been playing?
Well, the raid launches at 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow.
So you are just...
That's my goal, and I hope to make it there by then.
What light level are you?
358, but my problem is I have a 350 artifact holding me back, and I keep getting the blues I'm getting in my highest category, so they're doing me no good. Like, even a little bit, I could creep up in other categories. Like, I keep getting a helmet and a heavy, and that's my 2 highest.
That's why I stayed at 330. We're less.
Okay, when we get into talking about leveling up, I'll tell you guys what you need to do.
Excellent. I can't wait. Jez, are you using the yellow horn, and are you using the yellow ring? And hold on one second. Unilala says, I yell yellow horn every time I shoot rockets. And that sounds pretty good. That sounds like a lot of fun. Jez?
Yeah, I haven't used it much because, arc burn. But I have it ready to go. But we'll see. It's Yellowhorn is a weird thing because only because of its hidden perk and its exotic perk makes it a useful rocket launcher.
It does.
Otherwise, it would be the worst.
That's funny.
And no on the Sparrow either. I have one of the ones from a long time ago that I got in a package. The white one with white lights, and I just kept that.
Yeah, that is a good looking one. I have that on the... I think I have that on the Xbox, but I don't have it on the PlayStation. And that bums me out. Okay, excellent. I asked this because we talked about it going into it, would you even use this at all? And I didn't think I was going to like the Yellow Wing as much as I do. But I feel like it's shiny, and so I'm really enjoying driving it around. Also, I'm very, very happy to have the yellow horn back. That was my first exotic that I ever got, was the yellow horn, and it was, or no, wait, that's wrong. Suros Regime was my first exotic. Yellowhorn was, I just happened to buy it. I just happened to have enough coins on week 2, and I bought it, and it's just so much fun. Like, even if you miss the people, which is hard with its hidden perk, there's all of those little seekers, and you're right, Agrios. I don't feel a difference. So maybe what we're looking at is you only needed this much to kill the bad guys, and the Yellowhorn was like this much. So the overkill, you didn't see at all. So when they scaled it down, it was more than okay.
If that's the case, we'll really notice it when we are shooting things that don't die in one hit, though.
Totally.
You can already find that out. Just go do a normal strike.
There you go.
It feels like a decent rocket launcher.
I mean, I do remember its heyday. I do remember it just melting bad guys. I do remember LFG being, hell for people who didn't have it. So, I don't know. It's exciting. Let's go to... Oh, I know what I want. I love Rise of Iron. Like, I will just say right off the top that I'm very much enjoying playing it. I'm very much enjoying the layers and depth that they put into it. I'm very much enjoying seeing cloaks and marks show up that have not been there. I was a little surprised to see things like the very first mark that you get, or the very first cloak that you get, showing up as a legendary. I think that's pretty crazy. I've also seen a couple of greens that have showed up as legendary. And so basically my goal in life at this point, once this raid thing passes, once this raid fad passes, I'm going to be searching like a madman for the mark of the 6 fronts, because it's just the one mark that has always stood out to me. It looks amazing. I'm a little sad that it's going to change colors because it had this really cool white. It looked really awesome.
Just find your shader that fits it.
This is true. I actually, the number one shader that I use more than anything else is Million. And when I first got it, I thought it looked ridiculous, and it absolutely does on certain pieces of gear. But on my Hunter, it just looks so clean. The black and the brown and the white just looks so nice. Just looks fantastic.
I can tell you, I go through Million, Gold Spiral, and Cryptographic. Those are my 3 go-to shaders.
Yeah. Agrios, what is your go-to shader or shaders?
Revenant. But my favorite one is actually I'm gonna have to look the name of it because I'm forgetting it offhand. But I got Revenant like more recently, so I've been getting my use out of that. But Palace Victorious, I like with a lot of outfits. That's one of the ones that comes from the Queen's Wrath leveling from Petra.
Sharks, what are your go-to shaders?
I don't know. I don't really have a go-to shader. I try to switch it up all the time because I get sick of looking at the same shader. What I've been running on on most of my characters is the Moments of Triumph shader, but not the gold one, the blue and bluish teal one. I like those colors. Reminds me of my hockey team almost, and I don't know. It's kind of different. You don't see a lot of people it because a lot of people don't like it. Other than that, I mean, sometimes I run the silver shaders. Some of them have like blue highlights and stuff like that, just to make my Guardian's armor look like armor, kind of shiny. But I don't really have a go-to one per se. Not at the moment. There's a couple shaders I want though, and I don't know what they're called. There's one that's really dark looking metal, and it looks badass. When I get that, I'm probably going to be rocking that for a while.
Awesome. Gray, what are your go-to shaders? You should probably, at this point in the conversation, unmute your microphone. Again, at this point, you should probably unmute your microphone.
He's just not listening to you.
This is awesome. You know,
Okay,
you have no idea how many mutes I have on this system. I can lock myself down like one of those end strike chests without a skeleton key.
Right. If you feel yourself getting ready to really drop some F-bombs, you're like.
Yeah. So I have a dead orbit. River, cut all that out, please. Please, River, cut it out. I rock a dead orbit black and white shader that has all these kind of almost like speckled, like I don't know, it almost looks like exhaust dust across the chest piece. That looks pretty cool. I think the shaders have been good so far that I've seen, but the hunter cloaks I've really been impressed with. I've seen some really awesome looking hunter cloaks since Rise of Iron dropped.
Awesome. It's interesting because I feel like some of the shaders go across very well to other classes. And as we're talking about this, I realized that for the Hunter, Revenant, the Old Guard, Million, and Hollow are kind of the ones that I always have in my inventory. Well, with also Chatter White. Chatter White looks good on everything. But like for my Titan, I almost exclusively use Devil whatever. I don't even remember what it's called right now because Thunder Devil, that's right. Because that looks way metallic. I think it looks great. It was I got it RNG in year 1 and I just wore it everywhere because it just makes every Titan look great.
Remember, people started getting it RNG, and then like a week or two later, we were like, "Yeah, it's an awesome one. It's very exclusive." And then Abel Levante sold it.
Right. Right. And everybody had it. What was that?
The collector's edition shaders are all pretty nice too.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I play Hunter, so not really.
So
you don't like the black and purple one?
Not really. It's not my color scheme.
The brown one on the Titan in particular.
Hedge says Sparkle Pony, and I just can't find a use for that. I understand though. I understand, Hedge.
Speaking of which, make sure you check eBay every day for the new shaders. If you miss the one on the first day, it's back there again today.
Unless you don't have Glimmer, because you might be using your Glimmer for stuff. I haven't bought any of those shaders, and I'm kind of on the fence. I should buy them because I want them, but
I bought them.
It seems like she's rotating through having one of them every day, so I'm sure they'll be there.
So wait, Agrios, I don't think that today's was the first one.
Today there's 2 of them. There's Sparkle Pony.
Oh, yeah.
The one from the first day.
Agreed. I wasn't even looking at that other one.
Yesterday. The ointment is the one that was in the Crota's End trailer that never showed up until now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. But anyways, let's keep this moving. So I really love it. I really love a new social area. I really love backstory. I'm really pleased about the way they've chosen to tell this tale. But I feel like that Bungie has a really sweet opportunity here, and something that I think that they should use in future DLC, and that is that they, Bungie is so good at letting people simmer. Bungie is so good at the slow burn, and we'll give you just this little bit of information, and so we in real life end up living in this world where there's things happening but not yet. And in the Rise of Iron, just like the previous expansions, once you've done the 6 or 10 missions, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, you go from here's a problem to you've solved this problem to, well, there's still other things to do. And what I'd really like to see them do is go from here's the problem, here's other stuff to do, here's some more moving along, and then here is the resolution. I really, really want to see. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this is because it bothered me. It bothers me that within the first sitting, in the first sitting of playing this game, I've already resolved all of this with Saladin. There is no more tension. That they made tension. And then I did a couple of missions, and then I broke tension. He says, "Oh man, you're totally an Iron Lord now, and I can just sit on my laurels, and everything's cool. Go talk to Shiro. He's going to send you out for some patrols." I feel like let's give us a couple of missions here, and then have us build up something over the week. Let us live in this world where it's not okay, where Saladin, when you go and see him, he's like, "Man, we really need to do something about this," instead of, "Oh, you've totally done a great job."
So do you mean like time gates, or do you mean episodic content, or
both.
how do you want this to be handled?
Both. And I think that it's kind of the same thing. Like if I was to give an example in using the Rise of Iron without changing much around, I would say give us those first 2 missions to do right off the bat, and then give us an opportunity to like give us a week to build up and destroy a large number of the forces. So I'm going to be playing this for at least a month. I mean, personally, I'm going to be playing it for longer than that. But I feel like when the DLC comes out, that is how reliably people stick around for. And so what I'd really like to see is 1, 2, or 3 missions building up this problem. In those missions, it was like, oh, this is crazy. You didn't even see a splicer for the very beginning of it. And so get us to the splicers, explain why it's such a problem, and then have something like with that ARG that Bungie did, where it was we received infection and passed it to each other over a certain amount of time. Let us build up to that next mission. We need to take out this many Siva beings before we can even begin to go back through the plague lands and do something about it. That is exciting to me. I want to live in that world where things aren't okay without it being, oh, well, there's still Siva everywhere. Nothing has changed in the plague lands. And I'm not necessarily saying things have to change in the plague lands, but the idea of purchasing a DLC and then having it last, having this story and feeling last over 4 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 weeks or any amount of time other than the initial first 4 hours of sitting there, it's just it was a build up, and then it was immediately just, there is no more tension. Saladin just said, "Hey, I really appreciate you taking care of this, and now we don't have to worry about this anymore." And then they proceeded to say, "But we still have to go defeat these other guys. Give us a couple missions, build it up, have us defeat these other guys, give us a number of bad guys we need to defeat as a community, as the millions and millions of people we are playing, and then give us more content. Like, that would be exciting to me. Imagine first day, everyone plays those first 3 missions, and then as a community, as a collective, we have to defeat 18 billion or whatever it is. I'm certain that they have the metrics that would show how long it would take to give us some amount of time. This would bring people back like crazy. Like the idea that I've completed these couple of missions and now I need to go out there and do my part. I need to do my part and put down as many Siva folk as possible so that we can reach this conclusion together over an amount of time. Like, I just felt really let down by how quickly everything resolved. And I mean, it didn't resolve, but that's what they're telling us. And that's where it is. They need to not tell us that everything is resolved. I want there to be more tension. I want to live in this world where Siva is this big problem. And I want to just simmer in it. Bungie is so great at eking out just little details. I think that this is the next step for DLC, is making it last longer than, just a couple of missions, and then here's some side quests. And it's cool. I'm really happy about those side quests. I'm really happy that once you complete the missions, there's still more to do. And I still want that. I still want there to be this after party, because at some point, there's going to be people who buy Destiny who didn't ever play this, and I don't know, it just resolves too quickly. Who wants to talk about what they love and what they don't love the most? Raise your hand. Nobody. Okay. I just didn't want one of you like peeing your pants over wanting
I
to
knew
talk.
Bad Shark wanted to talk about it, so I knew it wasn't the most. So I knew if I raised my hand, it would be a fraudulent answer. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. I just know how about Sharks wants to talk about that. So,
Okay. So then why don't we go to you, Sharks? So I want to know what you think about Rise of Iron overall, and I want to know what you like. I want to know what you love, and I want to know what you don't like, what you don't love. Go.
Okay, there's too much to like. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I really enjoy that. I like the size of the area, the potential to go around and do different stuff, find different things. I like fighting different enemies. I mean, they are basically different enemies. We've been kind of stuck on some of the same stuff for a while. I like the aesthetics of everything. For a very, very long time, everything has basically been Hive. I mean, really, that's all it's been. It's been Hive, everything. And this has totally gotten away from that, so it feels very fresh. I love that. I love the new strikes. I think that, what they did to redo those strikes are amazing. The new strike is really fun. I haven't even played any PvP. I love PvP, and I haven't had time to even get into a PvP match. So I know I'm going to love that too. There is endless stuff to talk about as far as liking stuff. Ooh, what was that?
That was him getting a text.
Sorry about
turning off
that.
the vibrate.
Whoopsie!
Sorry about that, everyone listening. Hey, maybe River could cut that out too. We should make a list. Continue.
Okay, so I mean, I could sit here and talk about stuff I like the whole podcast, and I think that we should bring up that. I don't want to diss on anything as far as having Bungie think, oh, all I want to do is sit here and complain about stuff, but it's the complaining stuff that I want to bring up, because we will have lots of time to talk about all the really cool stuff that we have. There are some things that are really messed up in this game right now, though.
Continue.
Okay, so before Rise of Iron dropped, everybody, Chris Barrett, Scott, Deej, there's a whole bunch of other people too, said that they loved the way that the infusion was working. They were not going to change it. They were not going to change it at all. It was perfect. What happened? Because they changed it.
Changed everything.
Yep.
How'd they change it?
Your legendary is only decrypted at 1 higher than your light now.
Well, that's not That's not infusion.
What do you mean? The amount that each
That's
different
part of
thing
the
can
infusion
affect your
process.
other items isn't part of the infusion process?
No, infusion is, hey, I get this item and this item. I want this item's light level. Brr.
But there's also
That's-
other rules that were established, as in these items would raise it by this much. An exotic only raised this percentage of it. They had calculators you can figure out exactly. I would call
Yeah,
this
and then
all part of the infusion
Then
process.
was
they
all
changed.
part of the
Then they
PvP.
changed it to be, hey, it infuses 1-to-1 now. And then they did that, except there's a weird bug that sometimes things will infuse higher.
No,
What
it's
I'm
not
saying
a bug.
is I don't
It's not a
disagree
bug,
with
there's a
Shark's
way around-
assertion that they said it wasn't changing, and that should have
Yeah,
been
they
part
said
of what
it
they were
was-
talking
They
about.
said the whole thing wasn't changing, and they completely did everything. And there's a reason why they did it. They did it because they didn't want people to be highlight level going into the raid. And you know what? That didn't stop people. There are people that are actually 387. 387. So all it did was screw over a whole bunch of people that want to go in there and do the raid and make it really, and it made it really stupid because basically the only way for you to raise your light is by doing one thing, and that's doing strikes over and over and over again.
Or Crucible.
Sorry?
Oh, I said or
But
Crucible.
Crucible's not as effective as strikes, is it?
No,
No,
not
it's-
really. Just for your weapons. The there's plenty of other ways, but most of them are slower than strikes.
But that's the problem. The raid drops tomorrow, and he's saying for everybody who wants to raid, run the raid first with everybody, he's just, they're just getting screwed over by the new system. They should
Yeah,
either definitely
Oh.
move the raid out further if they were going to do this, or else,
Or not
There are-
change it.
There are
There was
complaints that I have that you have not brought up yet, so I'll leave
Well,
that to me.
I'm sure there's more, but let's hear Jez's. I'll stop for a second. Everybody knows I like to sit here and talk about bad stuff going on, and I don't want to be the only one. Go ahead, Jez.
So one thing, light level should not put you over the raid.
Agreed.
So they should have just had everything just hard stop 365 at the very minimum.
I completely
Right.
agree.
I agree too.
And that would also cut down on the grinding, and they wouldn't have to worry about, oh, well, we don't want them to get too high, so we'll start slowing it down. But generally you find things like 2 to 3, 1 to 3 higher light level on each individual piece, but it takes a lot to do just one light level. So you'll be forever grinding and getting the same gear. So yeah, there's a lot with the current loot drop system that I don't like. And I've already voiced that quite a few times. I'd much rather like light tiers, not light levels as they are. I mean, eventually maybe we'll get to a stat crunch in Destiny 2, but yeah. It's too high at this point. We should not be in the 365 and worrying about 365.2.
Well, they should have had a cap. I mean, they've had a cap on every other thing. It was like there was a cap. You could only get up to so high. They even capped off exotics. And,
Yeah, it used to be 300.
After hard mode was released, then they upped the exotics. They could have done that.
They are doing that right now because it's 385 right now, and it's going to be moved to 400 when hard mode drops.
Except exotics are going higher than 385.
Exotics
But that's
are
only
going to
because of the funny infusion that's happening. They're only going up to like 386 or 387. That's because people are infusing into it, right?
No,
No.
they're going up because the cap is 400 on an exotic. But
Oh,
it's
really?
Yeah, but it's one at a time, and because it's one at a time, that's why it's so slow. Even people
See, I
like
figured it was well, it happened to you too, right, Sharks? You infused like a 351 into a 340, and you got a 352, right?
Yeah,
Right,
that's,
but
I think
I
a
found
rounding error probably.
there's a reason why.
That's what I
There's
thought
a-
was causing the 386s and stuff.
No.
Yeah, well, okay, so, and it was actually Jaded that actually highlighted this. This was something that happened back, I don't know. It was a long time ago when we were infusing stuff. When you infuse stuff, you wanted to infuse whatever it was gear-wise that was the lowest light level, in order for it to go up. Because, for instance, okay, let's say I had headpiece 370. I had a gauntlets 370. I had a chest piece 368, and I had boots 370. Oh, it's 369. Let's say. What you'd want to do is you want to infuse the chest piece, because if you infuse the chest piece, it's looking at your your lowest light. So if you do that, you can actually get 3 light levels. But if everything's the same, if everything was 370, then it's only going to go up 1.
When I hit 355, I started jumping up 2 and 3 light points for the gear that I've been getting. Like I was 355 and I got a 359 primary.
You will with blues. You will with blues all the way up until you're 365. And once you're 365, then that stops, because then everything is based off of either exotics or legendaries or faction packages.
Well, legendaries can only decrypt to 365 as well, unless they turn into an exotic.
385.
No.
I thought they were supposed to be till 385.
No, they stop at 365. The only
Are they
things
supposed to do that, though?
I think.
Oh, that's not right.
That's what I've experienced.
I've had it decrypt higher.
You've had purple's decrypt higher? I can't see it because I've never had it happen.
I know you can't see it because you never had it happen, but it happened. It's happening. That's part of the reason why I'm the light level that I am. Of course, the other reason, because I have a whole bunch of exotics that I've held on to.
But not legendary drops. Legendary drops can be higher than 365, just decrypted engrams.
Well, that's not legendary drops, really.
No, I'm talking about
Crucible.
Skeleton key chests, right?
What?
Skeleton key chests.
Yeah,
right?
skeleton key chest can draw blues higher than 365.
That can go all the way up to 385.
Yeah.
The question is, has anyone decrypted any engrams above 365?
Yes.
Okay.
Only exotics for me.
I have a better question. Is anybody enjoying this process?
Nope.
No.
Neither am I.
No.
That's what I don't like.
Process.
That's my don't like. Is this is the first grind I've had for getting ready for a raid, and I haven't even got to really enjoy the game. What my like is, I think that the graphics on the story missions so far have been exceptional. They've been awesome. I think that letting go of last gen, I've noticed a significant increase in the textures and the graphical quality in the game. That's my plus. I didn't get to enjoy it very much, but that's what I liked.
You know what? That's another problem. So I can get behind this. I can get behind wanting to kind of eke out more of a grind, but not when we're looking at the turnaround for the raid so quickly. Like I would like it to be either give us a little bit more incremental raising of these things, or give us more time to prepare for this raid, because I feel like I've just had to stuff all of this down my throat in order to get where I need to be for this raid, and I'm not even there yet. And then it just becomes this endless, just strike after strike after strike. And again, this is one of those things where Bungie needs to decide what is more important. Is it more important to be a thorn in the people who are going to get there anyways? Like there are people in the Destiny community, in the gaming community, that they just play video games all day long. These are the same people that are like 386. They've built this up so super quick. So what did them putting all of this in between every player do to stop those higher up people? It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything to stop them.
That's not what they care about.
What's that?
That's not what they care about.
Tell me what they care about.
They know. Well, so Deej was asked. In fact, K-Dub asked Deej during Guardian Radio's last podcast. He said, basically, what is your thought process behind having the raid 3 days into the stuff, because it's making everybody race through the story and grind up, and like you say, it's only those elite people. That's what they want. They want those elite people to go in there to showcase their game, and the other people, they don't want you getting in there fast. They want this to be a slow process so that you're playing this game for an extended period of time, because the longer you play, the more publicity it is for them, basically, and they're keeping players. They don't want a normal person to get up to light level 385, go and do the raid, and then do what Agrios did during Taken King, and I've done everything, I don't want to do it anymore. Because that's what most people would do. I mean, there was reasons why Agrios did it, but everybody else out there that would get to that point, they wouldn't play anymore. They wouldn't sit there and grind for no reason. And that's why they slow it down.
So I guess I kind of see what you're saying, but it's not like they're even going to post all of the people who completed the raid on day one. They're not even going to post that many people. So like I see what you're saying, but at the same time, really the hardcore people are who's going to win this. The people who put the time in, who have a really good team. Those are the people who are going to win. It's not going to be Joe Blow and Mary Sally who go in there and beat it, like, oh, we just happened to fumble our way into world first, like this. I feel like what they're doing is they're gating everybody at the cost of nothing. They've gained nothing. The people who play this all day long, they're going in doing these things, and they're just making it harder on the people who have any kind of life outside of playing video games. Agrios is just a couple light levels above me. This is unheard of, Agrios has more time to play. I've got 3 kids running around this place, creating crap all over the place. It's just wall-to-wall crap. And Agrios is just a couple light levels above me. He should be so far ahead of me that I don't even see his taillights. Agrios,
you got to remember that I didn't appropriately edge everything. I didn't save up 115 engrams. These are things I did during the other expansions that I didn't do during this expansion.
Why did you not do that?
I had a whole lot of stuff in my vault. They weren't giving more vault space. A lot of the reasons why I stopped before, it was the whole. I'm not going to work toward things that they're going to take away from me, or not just slightly change to weapon tune, but literally just take them out of the game, like they have in the past. To me, it was, I'm going to find, one set of good weapons. They're going to do me good. If I find something better along the way, great. If not, that's all I really need. So there was no real point putting in a lot of extra time grinding toward the things. The other reason would be like the only fun I was still having in Destiny was when I was playing with friends. I still had a lot of fun in Destiny, but not solo grinding anything like that like I do in some other games. And my fire team just wasn't on a lot, or was doing other things, or unreachable. So I was playing other stuff, really. It wasn't anything to do with Destiny, really. It was more situational, as in my fire team wasn't there anymore.
So we've got off topic here. Okay, Sharks, you listed what you liked and what you didn't like, or you didn't list what you liked, because we can talk about that later. You only listed what you didn't like.
Yeah. So I do want to say something else that I don't like about what's going on in the game right now, and that's that they're forcing us all to go out there and grind to get this stuff right. And if you want to be one of those elitists, like some of us are doing, to get up to those highlight levels, you have to play a strike or however we're going to do it. But there are still issues with being able to get gear. It's not very easy to get certain types of gear, and there's no way for you to actually go out and just look for that gear. I mean, especially when they went and fixed a lot of issues with, you can pick guns if you want to for packages. You can pick armor for packages. You can't really pick ghosts, so that's going to be random. And it's even worse to get artifacts. There is no way to really go out there and grind for artifacts. And that really bugs the crap out of me.
That's the problem.
that's RNG. That's literally RNG. I have been, I better knock on wood, pretty far. Okay, my mistake. I'm not knocking on wood ever again.
Piss off, dog.
Yeah. So, but I've been really lucky with my artifact drops. I have decrypted twice now blues that have turned into purples, which have brought up my light in my artifacts. But that's not the case with everybody. There are people that are having issues. I don't know if Jaded's having an issue with an artifact. I think it's a ghost on his end, but it's the same thing. That there's no real way. Well, ghost is a little bit easier because you can just go through packages and maybe get a ghost to drop, but that's still very, very random. And I don't know. I just
actually got a ghost from every package I turned in so far.
It's actually easier to get artifacts and ghosts.
RNG in this system is stupid.
Got it. Jez, what do you dislike about Rise of Iron?
I already mentioned that I don't like light levels. Strikes are nice. I like the Siva enemy type. It's varied from what we've had, and there's some new interesting twists like traps.
Traps for chests.
That too. Just in general, things that you have to deal with, otherwise you're stuck. Stops you from going through a set of enemies just on your Sparrow.
Got it. I do like the Siva enemy type as well.
Oh, one thing I didn't like is if you wanted to play the story, you could pretty much just run to the end boss for most of the missions.
Is that right?
A lot of it is just run to here, do something, and run away.
Gotcha. Agrios, likes, dislikes for Rise of Iron. Mute button. Plink.
The whole infusion shenanigans and whatnot is a little off-putting. Igor Sharks, as in they implied that a lot of what has changed wasn't really going to change. And like Jess says, that's up for interpretation, what you consider, what they were saying about the infusion system. But there are also other places where they implied that, we wouldn't have a problem with the bounties, but that might have been an interpretation too. Jez so conveniently pointed out there that might have been, he was talking about the existence of those bounties being able to be completed wasn't going to go away, not necessarily the ones that we were stockpiling. But there were a bunch of instances here where, people's efforts were nullified in ways they anticipated being fruitful. And that's never really a good feeling. I mean, you don't want to feel like your efforts are being invalidated at any point. I mean, people always feel like, everyone feels like their time's valuable and whatnot. So, it's a bunch of those situations. And I think I sort of agree with, you, Remy, as far as the whole, it's catering to maybe the wrong group of people, how the infusion system is interacting with the closeness of the raid. But, other than that, I mean, it was about what I expected as far as content-wise so far. I just maybe wish that we weren't so bottlenecked into doing the exact one specific task for the most part to have to get to the raid. I wish they would have maybe set it up to be more enjoyable, because if their theory was somehow to only, have the people who could showcase their raid or whatever like that, they needed to make it more fun for the people who weren't going to get there, for sure. And I think that touches on what Gray's problem was.
There is another way, you know that, right?
Save it for the tips and tricks. We'll get to that right now. Right after Gray tells us what he likes and doesn't like. Or did you already do that, Gray?
I already did that.
Excellent. Yep. Then why don't we get to some tips and tricks? I want to know what the quickest way to do the best stuff is. I went through the story missions. I went through and basically just did whatever showed up in my missions, and then I started doing the strikes. If I had known what I know now, I would have just went right to strikes. And I tell you what, if I still had those Iron Banner bounties, I would be better off than I am right now. I wasn't horribly put off, because I saved up a good amount of marks, and I still had my Trials of Osiris bounties. But yeah, Sharks, why don't you give us some tips and tricks on how to do this? We've got 13 hours until the raid starts, so what can we do to maximize our time?
Okay, so first off, it depends on what light level you are going in, and if you're going in with a team, and how high your team is. For instance, if you are going in solo and you are just starting out, there are people that maybe haven't had a chance to play yet. Buy as much vendor gear as you possibly can to raise your light as high as possible. Then what you want to do is you want to go into the Sepix Perfected Strike, and you want to grind that, because that is dropping the blues that you get from a heroic strike, and you can also, you also can get legendaries drop, and of course, if you're doing 3 of coins, you can get exotics drop. You do that until you're high enough to go into the heroic strike playlist. The heroic strike, it recommends 350. And that's the low end. If you're going in by yourself, you may have issues, because there are a lot of horrible people out there that don't pull their weight. They don't play. There's a lot of people having that kind of issue. There's also people that go in there and they don't go with the modifiers. I mean, right now the modifiers for that playlist is Arcburn, and you want to throw as many grenades as possible. So you want to run whatever your arc class is, and you want to have Zhalo. You want to have all arc weapons, and you can go in there and you can start leveling up that way. And you do that all the way up until you're 365. That's the way you're going to get to 365. Once you've hit 365, then you kind of hit a wall. But if you were smart, while you've gotten legendary engram drops, you have not decrypted them. Because if you decrypt them after your 365, they do drop. They do decrypt higher. You can also get lucky, and when you're decrypting blue engrams, they will turn into legendaries that can be higher light level also. And then, of course, you're using your exotics to bump up your light. A lot of people are just doing the strikes, but there is another thing out there that you can do to get gear. I kind of exhausted playing the strike playlist because the blues aren't dropping for me. I'm not getting legendaries. Very, very rarely, I should say. And I don't need exotics. I still have a vault full of exotics, so I can use that to upgrade. So the only other way to get things leveled up is to play something that a lot of people don't like right now, and that's Archon Forge. Now, a lot of people were having issues with the Archon Forge because they went in at low lights and there wasn't stuff dropping. But Bungie has clarified that there's 3 tiers. You have green tier, lowest tier, blue tier, middle tier, and then purple tier, which is the highest tier. Each tier you can get end game loot from. So it will drop higher than whatever your light is. But each tier, it makes it a percentage as far as what is dropping. So, I mean, how much it's dropping. So, well, I'm just going to throw out fake numbers because I don't know what the real numbers are. Let's say you have a 10% chance of that legendary gear dropping with a green, a 20% chance with the blue, and a 30% chance with the purple. So you want to go in there and you want to do those purple things to get that higher chance for that good end game loot drop. But the only problem is that you're going up against level 370 enemies. Well, some of us went in there yesterday and we were trying to do that. And I myself popped 2 of those purples. And I know some other people did too. I think Agrios might have popped a purple. And I think Jaded popped a purple. And other people that we were playing with in the Forge were popping purples too. Not one time were we able to complete it because we were under leveled. Now, now people are getting up higher in light. So if they go in there now and they start playing that and they start popping those purples, you will get higher light gear. So people need to go back there and start doing it again. The problem is that everybody's shying away from it from yesterday and the day before. So you're not seeing people go in there. I did a test earlier because at the moment my light level is 371 and Jaded's was 371. And we went in there with Guru Fu, who was way under leveled. But we popped a couple second tier ones, which is light level 340, I think it is. And it was super easy with just 3 of us there. So that's another route that people can use to level up, because you're gonna hit a wall with the heroic strikes. The only way you're really gonna get gear from the heroic strikes is getting an exotic, which you can get from any, strike playlist, or turning in those keys. And those skeleton keys are very, very scarce. They are definitely not dropping at the rate that people were saying they were.
Or at the rate I expected them to. I expected, like the way it was described, it made it sound like, oh yeah, complete some strikes and you'll get some skeleton keys and then you'll get to pick and choose where you want to put it. I almost feel like my drop rate was greater before they put this skeleton key thing in. Like I feel like I was getting those strike specific loot much more prior to the skeleton key. I only ever got one, and I've done a bunch of strikes since then, and I don't know. I feel like I want more rewards.
So something that would be, I think, helpful, I guess, would be where this is something I want to know. It's something I'm going to look for after the show if we don't figure it out here. Is what activity in the game earns you the most legendary engrams the quickest? Because legendary engrams are based on your level when you decrypt them, but you can get legendary engrams everywhere. So aside from the Archon's Forge, I guess then what is the most efficient way to actually earn legendary engrams in Destiny right now? That's something I'd like to know. I'm going to find out.
You know what? Can you look
that
that up right now, Agrios, and then get back to us?
I'm going to start working on it. Yep.
Okay.
Des finished off camera. I somehow feel he went into his mythical chamber, and like wherever he pulls his info from, we can't see it on screen. And
right,
you really think so?
I bet
he talk to Ziggy.
I bet he even knows.
I'll tell you. I'll show you.
Also, do you have some tips and tricks for us?
This is my mythical info.
Oh, I like
it. It was meowing, so I had to stop it.
Oh, okay. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say about leveling up. We kind of talked about it earlier. Remember when you're popping your exotics, that you want to make sure that you pop an exotic on your lowest light level item. So you got to be very specific on that. You don't want to pick your highest, because if you do pick your highest, you are only going to go up 1 light. But if you pick your lowest, you will go up. So far I've only been able to go up 3 at a time, but I mean that adds up pretty quick.
So we have another pro tip from SDF Lawnboy, Guardian 1 member. He's going to be raiding with me tomorrow. In the chat, he said make sure you do a public event 1 a day, because the first public event guarantees a legendary engram. That's his only piece of good advice, because he told me earlier today that his raid food is going to be a breakfast of Taco Bell, and then later on in the day, leftover Taco Bell.
So each of your members is going to start off pretty good and then just tank. It'll be the frequent bathroom trips that send all of you into second to last place. I like it. Sounds like your raid's going to be fun, Gray. Jez, did you have any tips or tricks for the people watching at home, listening at home? Also for me, I could use them as well.
Well, yeah, mine was pretty boring, and it's really hard to do at this point because it's basically do strikes. Or if you are an idiot, not really an idiot, but if you like the cheese things, you can always do Omnigul. That's a thing. That shouldn't happen.
What do you mean?
Do you remember when they were farming Omnigul for Grasp of Malix?
Yeah.
They'll kill her before she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
That still works, except you just get the 2 blues, but that's what everyone's after right now. Well, it's usually 2 blues.
You can kill her 3 times in the strike. There's a video on Reddit right now, so you can get boss level drops 3 times from her.
What do you have to do to kill her? Because I don't think I've ever been in a group.
And her strike outside of the strike playlist is only 320, not 350, and no modifiers.
Also, she's just like Sepix that she drops high level when she shouldn't.
Excellent. Is there a way to go to her reliably?
Yeah, you just pick her
and
out the directory. Yeah, just use hard mode, and you're good.
Oh, awesome.
There's also 2 strikes that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting loot. You're not getting any
non-taken Archon Priest.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do Bogoth.
The new the new abomination one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really fun to strike if you want to go out and do the strike, but you're not going to get.
To me, damn it.
Well, you'll do it as part of the quest line if you're doing your quest line. Just don't farm it.
Here's something I want to know though, because I haven't looked this up. We only got put into the strike once and we left because there were 3 of us. So it didn't matter if we left. It would suck if you're like running solo and you ditch people, because I hate it when people do that. But what I want to know is, does the chest, if you use skeleton key, will you get the end game loot?
Chests are always the same, no matter the light level, or no matter the level of the activity.
So you can go run base level doubles layer, and you'll still get up to 385 loot.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, if you had all the keys.
Yeah, if you had the keys. I just wasn't sure. I didn't want to risk it, because if they're having issues with the loot, who's to say that they don't have issues with that loot too? But
yeah, like I ran in there. I was hoping for the Hunter Gauntlets, but instead got another Devil's Dawn. But yeah. Also, Devil's Dawn is interesting to me because it speaks to me on the fact that its rolls are static. And the only thing that changes is its element.
Oh, the element.
And the light level. And the light level, yeah. I've had 3, and they're all Firefly life support.
I've never even seen that weapon.
You can inspect me if you want.
Edmundo asks, can you hold more than 1 skeleton key? And the answer to that is yes.
You can hold 5.
You can hold 5?
No, you can hold 10 splicer keys, but I think skeleton keys cap at 5.
Until we make another stack, or until you can't hold anymore?
No, you can't
hold anymore. It's
no
like
one's ever gotten
5.
there. No one's ever gotten there. So
right, no one's ever gotten 5.
And also,
I have 5. I had 5 earlier today.
Oh,
yeah,
rub it in, Sharks. Rub it in.
Can you put those?
Can you have
put those
6
in the vault, Sharks?
Yes,
yes,
you can.
Okay, so then you can hold.
You can also hold 1 Siva offering at a time, but you can vault 1 too.
You can't use dim to move the skeleton keys though.
No, you can't use the Bungie app either.
Yeah, you gotta basically go to the tower, drop it off, go to the tower, pick it up.
Interesting.
Like year 1.
That's the same thing with the Archon Forge. I can't think what they're called. But the things that you get for the Archon Forge to be able to do it, those ruins, if you want to call them ruins, They don't stack even if they're different levels.
The
you
offerings.
You can't transfer them.
Oh, you can transfer those with Dim. I've been doing that.
They
the entire
fixed
time.
it today.
You can't with the
Yep.
Bungie app or with Tower Ghost because I tried it today.
Yeah.
Well, I
today they
can't right now
changed it.
because I have one on all my characters.
Gray, do you have any tips or tricks for those who are trying to
fixed it.
level up?
Well, if
Besides
you're trying to do it
eating
before
Taco Bell for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
That's a terrible idea. That's a terrible trick. Yeah, so I've been doing the same things that we've been discussing. A lot of it has just been running the strikes. Once I hit that 365 cap, I'm at 362 right now, so I'm probably going to then just go and decrypt my exotics to try to get a couple extra light points if I can, and then probably call it good for the raid. I'm kind of with you guys. I was bummed to see people at 385 just because I was hoping we'd have a more level playing field, and I don't know that it won't be level, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be level. It feels
There's
like
no way it's level.
It's not going to be level because Bungie, Chris Barrett turned around and said that this is going to be the first raid that your light progression will make things easier for the raid. So he said, so the first people going into the raid, it's going to be hard, and then each time you get gear, your light goes up, and it will be easier and easier and easier.
So this is what I want them to do. I'm not saying they'll do it, and they have no reason to do it. But you know how you can go in and do, vanilla Destiny content with your 360 weapons, and they don't do the damage of a 360 weapon. It kind of caps and does damage of like a 200 light weapon at the max. I wish that they would do that for this raid. I wish that anything you could go in at whatever light above 365, but it's only going to do the damage, or it's only going to give your armor the protection at 365 light.
Do we not know that that's something that they're doing?
Well, they did say at one time there will be no benefit to get past 365, but they said that previous raid, so that's not true.
That's what
Interesting.
I'd like that. I'd like to see that, but I don't know. It's just speculation at this point.
Got it. Agrios, do you have any tips and tricks, and how far along are you in finding out that information?
I haven't found anything concrete as far as like the concrete, fastest, most efficient way to get legendary engrams yet. Most of what I've been coming across are things that we've already shared with the audience as far as new information here. So things we had mentioned is if you're out in the Plague Lands and you see any hive with brood in the name, get some bullets in them. When they die, you'll get a splicer key, guaranteed. They respawn quite frequently. One right just to the left of the starting area if you launch into the Plague Lands. If you just go left right up the hill, there's a wizard that comes out there quite frequently. But anywhere you see a yellow bar hive with brood in the name, get bullets into it. There's also some other, let's see here. There's a yellow bar splicer captain near the sensor grid for the Siva offerings. He tends to produce like guaranteed offerings as drops almost. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but it's a very, very high rate. He has a distinct Siva swarm effect on him.
In what section is he in?
He's in the. It says. He's near the sensor grid for the Siva offerings. It says, in the rocket yard in the huge hole in the wall where you first fight the splicers, there's also... That's where you can find one.
Got it. Rocket yard.
There's two of them. So there's one in that room in the rocket yard. Like if you launch into the Devil's Lair, partway to the Devil's Lair, you turn right, and there's that big molten hole cut in the wall.
Yeah.
So there's one apparently appears in there, and the other one appears near where you put the Siva offerings in the Archon's Forge. And they are splicer captains with distinct Siva swarm effects on them. And they're more apt to produce Siva offerings when you kill them.
What were you saying about only being able to hold one offering?
You can only hold one offering at a time. If you have a blue one on you, you can't, and you would have gotten a purple one or a green one or another blue one from whatever you killed, nothing happens.
Fuck.
You have to burn it or put it into your vault.
Damn it.
And you can only hold one in your vault. So your best bet is just to get them and burn them.
Well, I have a medium one, so let's go do that after this. Sharks?
Stick a purple in the vault if you get a purple for now until you're ready to run it, and then keep that purple in the vault until you're ready to run it, and then just burn ones as you get them. Even if they're purple, put them in and burn them, get them out of your system, and get one you can do.
Okay, so there's one more thing I want to warn people about, in case people have waited up until the last moment to do this. If you have only been on one character all week, and you're planning to jump on to your other two characters so that you can go into the raid with all three artifacts, don't do it. Because if you get your artifact, and say you get Timir's artifact on your Titan, and then you go in with your Warlock and you get a different artifact, and then you transfer that to the Titan. You can transfer it, but you cannot use it until you have actually done that artifact on your Titan also. So,
can I interrupt for a second? Because all you have to do... I'm interrupting. So all you have to do is have it in your inventory and go to the social zone. And then you can just walk up to the statue and... Nope. You can do it before the quest.
You can't.
I have all three unlocked.
Yeah, you just have to do the statue activation piece when you
So after you've gotten it, you can go in, even though you haven't done the quest, and do it?
Yeah, I'll show you. Just 1 second. Oh wait, I can't move all because my Warlock does not have any other artifacts.
Okay, well then discount what I say. Just make sure you go in there and start the fire then. Okay.
You have to at least do the story to open up the social zone.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
Right, cool.
Excellent. That's the way I thought it was going to work.
You really made my day, because I was really bummed that you couldn't do it, or at least I thought you couldn't do it. So that's cool. Yeah.
What is it that you have to do to unlock that social zone?
The first, maybe the second mission. I know at least the first mission.
And what do you have to do to get another one of those things?
You have to go through the entire story and then do a mission that says something like "Please the Elders" or something. Please the Iron Lords.
And so, are we going to have to do this every week for every time that she shows up with new ones? I mean, how is that going to...
I think.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like a weekly.
But we only have 8 to get, so...
But there's different rules on them. Like, this week the Timmers one has arc melees, or arc kills on or melee kills on Fallen, and it's a discipline strength roll. Well, maybe next week it's gonna be intellect, discipline, and solar grenades.
Yeah, but you might not have to redo it in order to get it. You might.
Yeah, you have to turn in those tokens. You have to earn a token to turn it in.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to buy the token.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are quickly coming up on the end of the show. So why don't we get to some news? Agrios, what do you got?
I should mention that all rep turn-ins at least go to 365. So your Erismore, your COE, and also the COE packages, like the big thing that get 30 points in one run, get 90 points in total. Those also scale to your level. Yep. I think to 365. I haven't really tested those out afterwards.
Gunsmith too.
Yeah, Gunsmith. Everything that goes in a spin it and you'll win.
Chess.
Sorry, it's a meme in our clan. Spin to win. So, spin to win.
That's awesome. Spin to win. So what do you got for us, Agrios? Or is that the end of the show? We're just going to go play some Destiny now.
Well, more or less that's it. We know the raid is starting at 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow.
We do.
They showcased some art. Now that it's out and it's not too spoilery, I suppose they've showcased some art in detail.
I thought it was a little spoilery. My personal opinion is it was a little spoilery. But
yeah.
But what can you do? It's not my game. I just play it.
They also there was one other thing here that was important, I thought. Now this is unique and different from before. Destiny, Rise of Iron, Grimoire. Players may lose Grimoire cards earned in Destiny Destiny Rise of Iron if the character on which the card was earned is deleted. This was not the case before, so people who are playing, like I main a Titan, so I have 2 other Titans I can delete and recreate. Things you may have earned on those Titans will disappear when you delete them, or along those lines. This is a new pick. So that's something to be aware of for people who are doing that part of the game. Shout out to the movie of the week people, Iron Lord University. Honorable mention, Fatebringer Speed Drawing. Honorable mention, A True Hero is Forged. And bonus track, Bass Jackers. I did not have a chance to watch any of them, but I always think, I usually do. And, community content creation's awesome. Check them out.
Right, there's so many. Those are awesome. I think it's actually Bass Jackers. But Bass Jackers
that makes more
is
sense.
cool too.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I think Bass Jackers is way better.
Yeah, Bass Jackers.
watch
They're a
Right.
bunch
Right.
of fishermen who play Destiny. It's okay.
Right. While they're fishing.
I told you I didn't watch any of them.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then let's just go down the line real quickly. Jez, is there anything else you want to... oh, wait, Agrios, what is it?
One other warning, or whatever. Somebody took one for the team already to find this out. Make sure if you get an ornament, you really like the item that you're putting it on, because if you put an ornament on an item and delete that item, you do not get the ornament back.
Got it.
Guys, we're missing something real big we didn't talk about on the show.
What's that?
What the hell is up with that Fellwinter's Peak climb? I mean, how long did you jump up that mountain? That's what I want to know.
I did it. Who's done it here?
I did it.
I haven't
I've done
tried
it.
yet because I'm busy grinding.
Sharks was upset that I made it so far up, and he left the fire team.
No, I wanted to grind. I wanted to go and grind, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to the tower, and I kept going up that damn mountain and falling. It was pissing the hell out of me.
Right after Sharks left, I made it to the top.
Shanks, okay, there's little worker shanks in the plague lands that you see around, and you can kill them, you can shoot them, they never mess with you. You can ride them.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can get a little worker shank surfing.
Can
So
you
looking
get right
forward
up
to
to
that.
the top
All
of
fun
Fellwinter's
things
Peak?
that if we weren't having to grind for the raid, we would be doing right now.
Right? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that you had to do in the raid to get to somewhere special. So keep your eyes out for those. Right? Shank surfing, exactly. Is that it, Agrios?
Yeah, that's enough. Let's go play Destiny.
All right, so I just want to make sure that everyone has spoke their piece before we go. Agrios, is there anything else that you wanted to say?
No.
Gray, is there anything else you wanted to say?
Check us out on this Twitch channel. You know where to find it. Tomorrow we're going to have, it looks like 3 confirmed Guardian 1 teams that are going to be racing to be the first Guardian 1 team to finish. All of us are going to be working hard to try to get Worlds first, but if we can't get Worlds first, we want the bragging rights of being the first Guardian 1 raid team to finish. So
I didn't
Are we all blind?
What?
Are we all staying blind?
Oh, you know what? That was something I was going to talk about on the stream tomorrow morning. Is what are the rules? Like are we going to watch other people's streams, or are we going to go to the internet? Yeah. What about reconnaissance, Gray?
Doesn't make a difference.
No rules.
Doesn't
If this
matter.
is a
Make it different.
competition between
No
Team
rules.
1 members, whether it's not a fair competition if we're going to stay totally blind and others are going to watch other streamers.
Right? I'm just going to sit back and wait until somebody else solves the puzzle, and then I'm going to tell my teammates about it.
Hey, I've already recruited a fair number of people to watch other streams to tell me how they're doing it. No.
Wow.
I have not. But I feel that the rules are just going to be play the raid as you want to enjoy the raid. You know? There's no
Interesting.
prize at the end. So
there is a prize at the end. I'll tell you what the prize is, Gray. Here's the difference. The prize is knowing that you figured out the puzzle in front of you and you didn't just copy somebody else's solution. That's the prize. That's the ultimate for me. I don't want to know what other people have done. Like, I want my team to figure it out. I want my team to look at the problem and figure it out. And I think
this community has been set upon everybody helping each other by learning off of other Guardians. I don't think it matters. Everybody's going in there and running it. If you get stuck in an area and you don't know what to do, how are you going to figure it out? You're going to get help from other people. So don't worry about it.
I imagine that.
That's a good point.
I imagine that you sharks could just, do some very sneaky reconnaissance and then be like, "Oh, I just totally figured it out," and then we have it.
So a couple things. One is we're based on the honor system no matter what. So we can set some ground rules, but it's only going to apply to these two teams. So the teams are, and this is actually going to count as my shout out as well, on the Xbox One side, and the only Guardian 1 team that's representing Xbox One is Gray's team, which includes Punisher, Knock, SDF Lawn Boy, Von Skeets, who's a friend of Knox, and Conspiracy. So that's our 6 on the Xbox One side. Remy, who do you got?
We got Sharks and Agrios and Hegemony, and Sharks, Agrios, Hegemony, me, Jaded, and what?
Dakota.
Oh, Dakota Dark. That's right.
Okay.
I'm just playing with him today. I can't believe I blanked out on that.
And you guys are doing it on the PlayStation 4.
We are doing it on the PlayStation 4, the superior console.
We'll find out tomorrow.
What's everybody's levels at this point?
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, the other team is hosted by our friends over at Guardian Radio. Destiny K-Dub and Mark Turcott, both with the Guardian 1 handle representing Guardian 1. They will also be hosting. So those 3, we're going to have multi-streamed on Twitch on our channel, so you can watch all 3 progressions. But if you want the audio, it's going to be kind of switching. So if you want the audio of any particular stream, you can jump onto my channel, Grey Ghost 2E, or you can jump onto Shark's channel because he's going to be streaming, or you can jump onto the Guardian Radio channel. So those 3 are going to have the audio feeds if you want a particular audio feed. The Guardian 1 network channel is going to be jumping between the audio feeds of those 3.
Not that anybody should watch me, but I'll probably have my stream on too. It's just my name.
Alrighty. Light levels.
Okay, Sharks, is there anything else you wanted to say before we went?
Wait, light levels. What's everybody's light level?
Oh, light levels.
My stream is not safe for work.
I'm at 362 right now. My goal is to be something over 365 by tomorrow.
And how long do you think it'll take you?
Well, I haven't popped any of my exotic engrams or anything, so hopefully it isn't too bad. Maybe 3 more hours of strikes.
Got it. I'm 356, and that sucks. Sharks?
371. I don't know what I'll be at tomorrow. I will be higher.
Agrios?
I'm unfortunately 358. I'm stuck there. I've been there since last night. Stayed there. I went up from 357 to 358 from last night to today.
Damn.
That's I really need to get that artifact and stop getting blues in the same slots. It's really bumming me out. But my goal is to be 370 by raid time. It always has been. Now it's a goal. Will I obtain it? Not so much. That's where I plan on getting at.
Hegemony says he just joined the Dames, so he's off the squad. Jez, you're gonna be running tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah. So I am 367 at the moment, but I still got 2 Nightfalls to do. Oh, I'm 367 on all 3 of my characters.
Oh,
I planned that well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And thankfully, they're not all the same class like some cheaters. So on I will run the Nightfalls, and then I got a bunch of faction package turn-ins that I can do. And Zer's coming, and he's probably going to be so empty of heavy ammo.
Also, he's going to bring some new ornaments. Excited about that. So who's in your raid team, Jez?
That's a little bit rough at this point because one of our team members had an issue. We have Wacky, Luage, Kanisha, Bones, me, and we're still working some things out on our 6, but I think at this time it might be Vink. We'll see.
Got it. Sounds like a good time.
I don't think we have anyone streaming, but we are recording for posterity.
I like it. How are you doing that?
An Elgato?
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Like, when we went to PAX, we had 5 Elgatos there.
Damn it. That's crazy talk.
We are a weird clan.
I don't know. It sounds like you guys are a prepared clan.
No, I wouldn't say that. 'Cause half the plans failed with that, but yeah. We are weird.
Okay. So then this is the end of the podcast. Does anyone have anything else they want to say?
I love it. I love everything, Bungie.
He wasn't willing to name any of it. Okay.
I can't wait for kitty armor and raid armor.
Oh, that's right. Trials is going to be coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Think about Trials.
30th. So next week.
Okay. So shout outs starting with Gray.
So my shout out is a preemptive shout out to my raid team who's going to kick ass tomorrow and show you guys what Xbox One is really about. That sounded so lame even coming out.
Oh, I'm not laughing at you, Gray. I'm laughing with you. Sharks, shout out.
To RNGesus for dropping everything I've needed. No, and also to my wife for letting me play as much as I want 24/7 all week long.
That's a pretty great feature. You did good, Sharks. punching above your weight there. Agrios.
Shark stole my shout out. I'm shouting out to RNGesus. Please forgive me. I'm humble in your presence. Please forgive me. Allow me to regret.
Right, you pissed somebody off. Jez.
So, there was a lot of talk of Yolder recently. However, my shout out still goes to Ephrodite, the invisible stalker of this expansion.
I like it. I like that a lot. Okay. And my shout out goes to my family because it's originally I was trying to get Flounder to take the whole week off so I could right now be sitting at 271 and then hopefully fly through some amount of content, and then life happens and that didn't work out. But I miss them all very much. And at the same time I'm happy that they're gone somewhere else to do something else, because this gives me a real opportunity, easily the first real opportunity to sit down and focus on Destiny. Like even the previous raids where I had a chance to do something, and here's a couple of hours to play, it always came back to, well, I miss them and I want to hang out with them, or they need me for something. And at this point, it doesn't matter how much I miss them. It doesn't matter if they need me. They're like 100 miles away, and I'm just going to play some video games. And when they come back, I'm either going to be super fat from all the junk food, or I'm going to be like skinny because I didn't feed myself. But it should be a good time. And so I want to shout out to my family because I love them and I miss them. And that wraps up episode 101. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.
them fall.